Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to an installment of the Quickview series. And this one, I feel like, guys, I feel like I got a little bit ahead of the curve because I've only been asked about this once. Look, okay, MEUS absolutely stepping it up. The tires becoming in a box. It's not that hard. Other manufacturers, like on the plunge, look at this. This isn't that bad. Like let's embrace this. I kind of love this because it's a typically sized Class 2 tire, which means you could store tires in these boxes and they won't go all weird. This is the the M1901, aka a Super Bouncer. And from the out of the box, first off, they have that smell. If you know, you know. When I unbag, I am sniffing this tire. When you unbag something reasonably exotic, when you unbag, like, it really gives a Hot Bodies HPI vibe. Smells very similar to unbagging a Sedona or a Rover. That is certainly not a bad thing. We pop it open here. We've got our good old open cell, single stage white foam. And this is a soft. Like, this is not a medium. This is a soft foam. A foam soft enough that in many tires, I think this might be an issue. This is the density of foam Axial needs to start putting in their incredibly thick-walled tires, because they're generally pairing foams that are too firm. This is not the style of foam that Vanquish needs to be using. So, like, these are positive thoughts. We are fully ribbed and belted, and the carcass is not thin. But in terms of the 3 C's, at least in terms of bench feel, and bench feel doesn't tell us a whole lot, but we can glean a little. In terms of bench feel, it does indeed feel like the thickness is appropriate to the softness. And that's good. We are fully symmetrical on the tread pattern. Absolutely fully symmetrical. And I would say this tire looks like about a 40-60. Would everybody agree? Maybe a 35-65? 35 to 40% lug? 60 to 65% void? It should be okay. The ribs and the belts, again, like magician's clown nose soft. This is all right. I am cautiously optimistic. When I unbagged the first offerings from Upgrade RC, the Rock Claw, and the Razor Wire, they are as thin as your fingernail. They are incredibly thin, and they got it right. For a freshman effort from Upgrade RC, they got it right. This is, to my knowledge, the freshman effort from MEUS, and hopes are high-ish, because they are not $27 a pair. They're more like $30 a set. So $15 a pair. That foam feels absolutely usable. And I am on board for that, because a tire that comes with a functional foam is an absolute step ahead of many, many others. There are a lot of good tires out there. Tires that are so good that we forgive the fact that the included inserts are terrible. As many would claim, they're there to hold the tire in shape during shipping. Well, maybe, just hear me out here. Maybe put your tires in a box. then the box can ensure that the tires hold their shape, and then you can supply the end user with a foam that is functional. I know, it's a radical idea. MEUS also has a line of inserts coming out. I do not have any, so I expect of course, the flood of comments of, "You tried them new MEUS inserts?" No, I have not. Ignoring the name that they're called Super Bouncer, this is a very rock crawling-ish looking tread. I've seen tires that look like this. It's a little swamper-esque. Where's them swampers? No, they have more of a, I mean, it's evocative, right? So they're swamper-like. So if you like a swamper, you're definitely in the neighborhood. I remembered. Sometimes. 121, which is that on the line? That is on the line for 4 3/4, and they're claiming 4 3/4. Oh, can you hit the width? 47. That's basically the exact same size as everything from J Concepts. So I don't have a problem. I don't have any problems with 475 with a 121 by 47. That's right there. The magic of editing. Look at that. What? How did that happen? Again? A third one? They give you both of your MEUS stickers. You can add them to your, I don't know how dense or thick your pile of MEUS stickers is, but mine is substantial. Make a great axle. I have nothing but high hopes that they've made a great tire. So this is pretty much the end of this part of the Quickview of the MEUS 1901 Super Bouncer in a compound that we're just going to call yellow. That's yellow. I don't believe it has a name. It might. Companies love to call things like soft or super soft or medium. Not as often, but every once in a while you'll see a tire that actually announces its compound to be medium. These I would put, it has that sort of gummy tackiness that we're used to from stuff that's a little more of this, if you get my drift. These look all right. The MEUS Super Bouncer, 475, proper 475, evocative of a swamper. It's not the most eye-wateringly appealing tire I've ever seen, but you know what? It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. And it's going to fall into that category anyway, which is if you're forced by your brain or some organizing group to run a quote-unquote scale tire that says Toyo or BF Goodrich on the side, this is obviously not that. This is for people that want a tire that performs, but is also not grotesquely expensive. So let's hope for performance. And I mean, don't even have to push down. They feel like we're going to get close. And I hope we get close. Out to the rocks, to the 10 stages of the Crawler Canyon Tire Test Protocol for Class 2. Baseline is ready. I'm ready. If you're ready, we head out into the cool morning air and we find out if the MEUS Super Bouncer is worth the money. Like, ultimately, that's where we're trying to get.
And we roll out. 55, 13, 60. That is predator weather. It may not be absolutely maximized. We had a bit of wind, a little bit of wind. Blows all the stuff out the trees. But the rocks are clean. Recent rain. I'm going as slow pokey as I can manage. Oh yeah. That's a good start. That is not an inauspicious start. I'm on board for that. That was over the bean at very low inputs. Most any tire can do it fast. Gonna go for the shuttle, short shuttle, right there. Cut back and over. Very good. Very good. Are we going to see a 3C's collaboration on MEUS's first go? There is no loss of steering accuracy. Look at that, out on the outside hanger. I ain't mad at it. Let's go easy side. Does it got that hook and pull? Yeah, it does. We're doing all right. Whoa, whoa. I am feeling pretty good myself. Oh. Ooh. There's going to be a couple of sticky points where we're going to be like, does this hold up? Because so far, I mean, coming out of the box, figuratively and literally, everybody, strong. Because let's be fair about this. Historically, we have not seen top-tier performance out of tires that have the word super on the side. The Super Swamper, which is like what this is close to, Swampers have what I call the Swamper problem, which is all of the lugs are effectively the same size, and they're the same height, and there's a rounded edge to actual Swampers that tend to weaken the shoulder. These don't have the rounded edge. Right up. Very good. These will, of course, be tested in the future on the MEUS inserts. We have to. I doubt they will crawl better than this. The maximum amount of forward drive one can generate is a single stage open cell foam because it has the most compliance, and compliance is king. And the only thing that compliance is bad at is maintaining structural integrity under side loads. These are bagging just the right amount. There's no little micro hesitations. We just driving. We have a potential here for a very high placing cost performance tire. I want to try it again. I think I cut out a little early. So right here, what I'm doing, because I can't quite get the notch from this angle there, I want to see that turn down. We're using a lot of steer angle to get there. But high side, which is right front, that tire has no load on it right there. So we're asking that tire to do a lot. All the load, so this is crossweight stuff. All the load is on that driver rear, the left rear. So the left rear is trying to prevent the right front from doing its job. So if the tire can still pull across, that means we've got a compound, we've got a composition, we've got a lug that can work in an adverse environment. For we have seen too many times tires be prevented from elevating, prevented from moving up the leaderboard because the tire is either not good enough at working collaboratively, meaning all 4 tires in concert aren't that good, so the score's not good. Or tires that just aren't strong enough individually. When that load transfers over right here, now we're asking a lot of driver rear. Are we going to get over collapse? No. Front, that passenger front didn't even come up off the rock. So the sidewall rib, was thawed out. Ooh. If that out of frame before the testing test of self-righting, if that holds up over there in the self-righting area, see passenger rear getting real light. We're coming up across higher. I want to see that collapse. There we go. See it pivoting? But that is ultimately, I think, manageable. There are tires that during a test, like it's almost impossible to roll them out because they're just doing it. I have to be reminding myself right now, that's a single stage, very soft foam. So we are prioritizing forward drive by a lot, but we've still got that Sidehill maneuverability. It is what it is, which is impressive. And it is inarguably predator weather, which means there are some questions I will not be able to answer for you in the short term. How will these do when it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit and not 50? Can't say. I expect... Ooh! Okay. We did drive through a little bit of wet ground cover to get here. Let me go at it again. No. I thought we would get a dead pull for sure. On the shuttle. Nice. Come around. They are remarkably well behaved. Like when asked, they go, and sometimes it is nice to have a tire that's a full 475. Got a little bit into the wet grass again. It's a little morning dew. Ooh, I thought... Honestly, I believe on a dry day, where I mean, not 60% humidity with dew still on the ground, I have mosses growing. I am surrounded by mosses. This is not a thing. Not this time of year. But here we are. Now, with full symmetry on the lug, we're going to get a little rowdy on the bumps because there's nothing to maintain our directionality, really. Oh, very nice. I did not think. I thought we were going to wreck us into the fence. Okay. They're not going to king in forward drive. I think the belting is probably taking away from the compliance a little. Like we're not breaching the top 10. These are nevertheless very good so far. They've been remarkably consistent. And if there was a surprise on the day, let's see if I can move it around without getting back onto the sand. Generally, a higher scoring tire will just dead pull this at fixed throttle. They'll get right there, and these just don't. They will shuttle through no problem, but will not manage that straight over. That is for me the most surprising aspect of these tires so far. Other than that, I mean, hot weather notwithstanding, these are looking really strong. An ability to withstand temperature is fairly big around here. Get up. Get up. There it is. It's clearing the sand. We had to drive through wet moss again. They do lose a little bit of accuracy. I mean, every tire does until it clears the lug. It's just how well does it clear its lugs. Get over. There you go. They look pretty clean now. Oh, that's good. There's a little bit. This is more me trying to clean them off than anything else. I can see my slider is bang in. Let's. As I said, you get proper rowdy. They get a little rowdy. We have no directionality. And we have the thing that I know a lot of people don't like when it comes to tires, which is we've got the little hook shape on the outer lug, and the hook shape on one side is going to be pointing to the back, and the hook shape on the other side is going to be pointing to the front. This additionally adds to that unpredictability at high levels of throttle. That's just like that. Okay, I knew that I could power out, but I didn't anticipate the 270-degree in-air turn there. So they're gonna be a little wild. And I think no matter what we test them with in the future, I don't think we're going to manage to eke any more forward drive out of them. This is maximum. We're maxed out on forward drive on a single stage. Maneuverability is a bigger, more. I got the front end bound up. Wow, they are okay. There's no such thing as too much side lug, is there? He asks, not wanting an actual answer. Because I got this bound up, and when I gave a little flick of throttle, it did another 270 turn on me. Okay, that's pretty good, because we did a little bit of a sit and spin in the dirt there, and they loaded up decently well. Right there, right there. Oh, for a single stage, that's really good. For a single stage that comes with a tire, that's exceptional. Yeah. These are all-rounders. Like, they don't really have an aspect of their performance that is so glaringly bad to cancel others out, nor do they have one that is so stunningly good. The forward drive is quite good. I think compound is playing a part in that. I think the conditions on the day are playing a part in that. We're gonna have to interpolate and extrapolate to get a score that I think is accurate. Because I don't know if it needs to be said, but I will anyway. The testing is objective, the scoring is subjective. It's impossible. We cannot test a tire in a vacuum. We can't test a tire as if it's the first and only tire we've ever tested. How would we have developed a protocol to test the tires? The thing of it is, every tire, see, that was more push left than I would have liked. Center cut. Now there was no weight on those fronts. We're getting a lot of transfer over. I don't think it's openly visible. Ooh. Ah. Back on the shuttle. Oh, they are doing their very best. There are little moments in here and there where I'm asking a lot. I am asking a huge from these tires. Just almost right there. Okay, a little A little jubbly, juggly, bouncy there. A little bup, 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 bup. In terms of we have to think. MEUS has not made tires before. This is the 1901, 1.901. This is their first 1.9 tire. It is far stronger than I would have imagined, truly. And I think because they went with a thicker belted and ribbed carcass that is still compliant, I think it really broadens the range of applications. Like, this is not just a pure rock crawling tire. This is that kind of tire for I use my rig for everything, right? I trail to the spot, I do some rock crawling, I do the thing. This is a tire kind of for that. Now, we might get them wet and they just disintegrate. And I don't mean physically disintegrate, I mean just the performance profile falls away. Bow. Now, we've got, these are what I call, the tree that you can see the trunk of there, that like bright green trunk, is called a Palo Verde. It is an evergreen-ish in that it blooms whenever it feels like. And what it does is, much like any other tree, it drops stuff year-round. And this is the phase of dropping what I call the sticks. It drops the pods, which turn into little beans, which are very hard and painful when you step on them. It's covered in spikes. It drops these little leaf guys, but the stick phase is the messiest phase. And it is, I mean, you can see them. They're all over baseline. And they are kind of difficult to self-right out of. I do a little double pop, and it's right over. We're going to go Cyclone. Woo-hoo-hoo! I need to get that more out in the open. Yeah. The 1901s are rowdy. They are rowdy. They do not bet. If given... Come on. Come on. Come on. If given just the right amount of beans, they do not, or the wrong amount of beans, depending on how you want to interpret, they do not behave. These will get real wild. Nevertheless, once you learn the self-righting of it, it's reasonably predictable for how wild the tire can get. These have done really well. And all that stands between these and an admittedly qualified victory, the conditions are near perfect on the one hand and imperfect on the other. Ground could be a little drier. Is surface transition wet? Based on the lug layout, based on the shape, the carcass, the compound, I think in mixed use, these will do really quite well. There's an unanswered question of how they will do in the wet, but it's half answered, is it not? Because it's moist. They've gotten wet dirt on them already. Get it there. Get it there. I mean, right? The lug height, the amount of void is really helping. Many a scale tire, and I would call this a scale tire. It's scale enough. It looks like a 1.9 tire. It's a 475. Many don't get the spacing correct. Few tires, sadly far too few, get all three C's correct. They either don't have a carcass that matches the compound, they don't have a composition that is a spacing of lug, the amount of lug relative to the amount of void. They don't have that which suits the carcass nor the compound, because all three C's have to line up. And more often than not, we're getting tires that are, what is it? Cheap, fast, good. Pick 2. But the manufacturers are building tires. Carcass compound composition. Pick 2. We're going to get one of them absolutely wrong. We'll get a great compound vanquish, but then we'll make the tires so thin that you bind your tire against a rock and your knuckle opens the inner sidewall like a can opener. What are we doing? So shouts to MEUS, because aside from running up full wet, we have seen a tire that, dare I say, he's got a stick in him or something. That has gotten, yeah, I saw it. That has gotten compound composition and carcass all to work in concert. Who doesn't love an alliterative quality? Click, 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 click. Baseline is performing his own alliterative quality with the click, 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 click of the compound, the carcass, and the composition. I have to keep reminding myself that these are basically half the cost of competitive products on the market and are very nearly as good. They're too good for how much they cost. Well and truly. And maybe potentially the highest scoring tire we'll see that has super on the sidewall. So as mentioned, the only thing standing between, I'm gonna, whatever that is, I'm going to remove that. What is it? What are we working with? It had taken this, and so this was inside the wheel. So that was like that was the baseball card or the playing card in the bicycle spokes. Getting the click, 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 click out of the bead lock. All that stands between these and glory is wet, and you can see him leaving dirt behind on slick rock. So, wait a minute, where is Oh, I see it. Someday, I will get the masonry drill out and I will replace these markers. I've thought about it, and I just haven't done it. Okay, got to get belly off. We're going to go right. We hit lines on both sides of this. That's why the low markers are so far apart. We just kind of pivot. Kind of doesn't want to do it there. A little high-bellied up. Yeah, they get a little rowdy. They get a little rowdy. And once they're a little wet and a little muddy, they get a little extra rowdy. But we remain hopeful. Ooh, that's very foamy. It's very foamy. Oh, I guess that's just air. This foam's gone now. Just show me what you got. Ooh, they like it clean. They like it clean, it looks like. Got that little pivot. Now you'll notice there. Did we flail a little bit? Yes. Did we slide back at all? No. I felt no backslide. Oh, yeah. All right. Swing it around. Swing it around. Come up across here. They do the thing on wet that tires do on wet, where you lose some accuracy. It's a short list of tires that don't lose some accuracy on full wet, but this is, I would put it into the very good category. And being more void than lug, I do believe they will clear well. Like if you got them real muddy, they did not load. We didn't get into any spot muddy enough to fill up in between, to fill the void. No, sit down. I want you a little flatter. That's pretty good. We'll take it. So, the previously mentioned interpolated score. I am going to put these at a conditional 97.5. 97.5 is rarefied air. That's top 20. That's up there with the Rhino Moza, the Deep Woods, the Dirt Tracks Hold, Class 1 Tusks, 2.2 Proline Ibex. 97.5 is basically amazing. Now, Predator Ibex fall apart if it gets proper hot. A lot of tires fall apart if it's proper hot. This score's below tires like the Bossman and the full-size Class 2 Rock Block, of course, Megalithics. Some of the X2 SS offerings, the Louise 6 gear, the Baja MTZ, the Baja Claw. That is the really rarefied air whenever you get up there. The Upgrade RC Razor Wire scored a 98.5, a full point higher. And that was conditional too, because they are very thin. I think in terms of an all-rounder tire, this is Deep Woods-esque. But honestly, a little bit more forward drive and more of a standard, not donut, rounded out shape. These are much narrower than a Deep Woods. These are absolutely worthy of consideration. These will find a place in the fleet, certainly for additional testing, if not full placement into fleet service. I'm looking forward to testing all of the other end of axle MEUS parts. MEUS is getting dangerously close to the point where you can just build a vehicle out of MEUS, right? They make a gearbox. They make excellent portal and straight axles, Capra width and AR44 width. They make wheels. Do they make shocks yet? I don't think they make shocks yet. But they make great drive shafts. They're getting real close. And the MEUS M1901 Super Bouncer, I was expecting upper 95s to 96 based on what I felt on the bench. 97.5 is quite good and conditional. These might fall apart at 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I kind of don't think that they will, though, because HPI products don't. And they smell the most. We're going off smell here. Smell is the sense most attached to memory. They smell like Rovers and Sedonas. And that is not a bad thing. Today, we did not a bad thing. We'll be testing more. But on this day, 1901s, which the G-Made 1901 is catastrophically bad, and the MEUS 1901 is borderline phenomenal, at least in the very good. And then again, I have to remind myself and you for a final time, these are $30 a set. And we ran these exactly as they come out of the, and I'll point it out again, box. More manufacturers, start putting your tires in boxes. No more Ziploc bags. Put them in boxes. Thank you so much, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in the comments section for all your the listings and detailings of your questions, comments, and concerns. I look forward to seeing you in the next installment of whatever we might have here at the Canyon. And in between now and then, please, one and all, do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again here from the Canyon. MEUS. is having a streak. They are just dropping bangers. I kind of didn't see it coming, because most companies that make other things get tires really wrong. One more of these. Boom racing.